The hallways were almost empty, just the sound of lockers slamming and distant laughter echoing off the walls. Miss Arya Khan, 27, a new math teacher, bright-eyed and still clinging to her first weak optimism, was walking back to her classroom when it happened. A sudden shove from behind slammed her against the metal lockers so hard it rattled the hallway. "Oops," a sneering voice said. "Didn't see you there, Miss Khan." 3 senior boys stood there, grinning like they'd just discovered a new toy to break. The books in her arms scattered across the floor. Her glasses slid halfway down her nose. For a moment, she just stared at them silent. She could have shouted. She could have called the principal. She could have let herself cry like she did last time, but not today. Today, she slowly straightened up, pushed her glasses back into place, and said in a voice that was calm but carried a sharp edge, "You might want to rethink your next move." They laughed. Big mistake. Seconds later, the entire hallway froze as one of the boys went flying over her shoulder, landing flat on his back. The others stumbled in shock. The cocky smirks wiped clean from their faces. No one in that school knew that Miss Khan, the quiet, polite math teacher, had been a national-level judo champion just years earlier. And this was only the beginning. 2 CFT Year 1 Arya Khan had always believed teaching was about more than formulas and equations. Numbers were easy, people were complicated. She had left her comfortable private tutoring job in the city to work in this public high school because she wanted to make a difference. But making a difference wasn't easy here. The school had a reputation, fights in hallways, graffiti on lockers, teachers leaving mid-year. She'd been warned about a certain group of students who treated the school like their personal kingdom. The first few days had been rough, snide remarks during lessons, paper balls tossed at her when her back was turned. Laughter when she tripped over a bag, accidentally, left in the aisle. Still, she smiled through it. She thought maybe if she stayed patient they'd come around. Then there was Liam and his crew. Tall, broad-shouldered, loud. The kind of boys who thought they owned the place. They swaggered into class late, never opened their books, and somehow made everyone else nervous. Arya noticed how some of the quieter students shrank in their seats whenever Liam spoke. She noticed how one girl, Maya, stopped answering questions after Liam mocked her math answer. It made Arya's jaw tighten. She wanted to say something, but the school had rules, and she was still the new teacher. At home, Arya's mother would call and say, "Beta, you've always been strong. Don't let them walk over you." Her mother didn't mean it literally, but Arya knew she could, because strength for her wasn't just in words. Few people knew about her past. She'd been training in judo since she was 8, competing nationally by her teens. But after a knee injury, she'd walked away from competitions. She had promised herself she'd never use those skills in anger. She didn't want to be that teacher, the one who lost control. So for weeks she stayed quiet, swallowing her pride every time they laughed in her face. Until that Thursday. The incident started small. Liam accidentally knocked a stack of graded assignments from her desk during lunch break. Papers scattered everywhere. The boys laughed as they walked away, saying, "Careful, Miss Khan, floors can be slippery." She bent down to pick up the papers, hands trembling, not from fear, but from restraint. She kept telling herself, not here, not like this. But by the time she was walking back to her class that afternoon, they were waiting for her in the hallway. She didn't even see them coming until the shove slammed her into the lockers. The sound echoed. Students down the hall turned their heads. Liam leaned closer and whispered, "You don't belong here, miss. Maybe you should just quit." That's when something inside Arya shifted. Chichik-TTR2, it was strange, how everything slowed down. She felt her heartbeat, steady as a drum. The weight of his hand still on her shoulder, the smell of cheap cologne, and she remembered every hour she had spent on judo mats, every throw, every stance, every moment her coach had told her control. Always control. She turned to face him. "Step back," she said. "Calm." He grinned. Or what? The next moment happened so fast that later, students would describe it in half-breath sentences. She grabbed his arm. He was in the air, hit the floor, didn't even see it coming. Liam lay on his back, blinking up at the ceiling, too stunned to move. His friends froze, their bravado evaporating. One of them lunged forward. Wrong move. Arya sidestepped, caught his momentum, and flipped him cleanly onto the mat of the hallway floor. She didn't hurt them. She just reminded them of something they'd clearly forgotten: respect. By now, phones were out. Students were whispering, "Miss Khan, she's like a ninja?" Arya adjusted her glasses, gathered her books, and said in a voice that carried across the hallway, "Class starts in 5 minutes. Don't be late." She walked away, leaving them speechless. Word spread fast. By the end of the day, everyone knew. Even the principal called her in, not to scold, but to ask, "Why didn't you tell us you were a judo black belt?" From that day on, things began to change. Liam and his friends didn't vanish, but they stopped targeting her. In fact, a week later, Liam stayed after class. He didn't meet her eyes at first, but he muttered, "Sorry for before." She nodded. "You're better than what you've been showing," she told him. And strangely, he stayed for extra help in math that day. Months later, Liam would become one of the top scorers in her class. Maya would raise her hand again without fear. And the hallways would feel a little safer. Not because Miss Khan could throw bullies, but because she had taught everyone something more important. That strength isn't about hurting people. It's about knowing you could and choosing instead to lift them up.